Zach Blanchard live in Portland, where we're continuing to see some damage as a result of the storm that continues to pummel the state. You can see right here a large tree branch down on the wires. This is on Preble Street in South Portland. And if you look even closer, you can see that the power lines have actually been dropped to the ground, a transformer there, just an absolute mess. This part of Preble Street closed in Portland. We're also hearing of scenes like this really all across the state this morning. So as you're heading out, we're hearing about closures up Route 1 pretty much all along the coast. We've also been hearing of smaller road closures like this one here. You definitely want to take some time as you head out the door. Beware of leaves on the roadway and other debris as well. But for now, we're going to send it on over to Todd Guttner for a closer look at the forecast. Todd.
Zach, thank you. What a mess. What a mess we have, especially along the coastline where these damaging wind gusts came in almost due east or even a little southeast too. Had that kind of a component to them. It's starting to calm down, which is really good, obviously, but we're still getting some pretty sizable gusts in eastern Maine now. That's associated with the low-level jet. Still scattered showers for the rest of the day, but much more tranquil. Same thing in Bangor, too. And then we get some sunshine back so we can clean up through the weekend.
Hello everyone, Jess Gagne and Lee Goldberg back this morning on Facebook Live to bring you everything you need to know about the storm, which rolled through southern Maine this morning and is continuing to roll up through the state, causing a lot of damage, a lot of power outages, and a lot of school closings, school delays, school cancellations.
Yeah, so the main reason that we're here with you now on Facebook and our website and YouTube, as we were at 7:30, is because we're now just under 200,000 people in the state that don't have power. So if you don't have power, you can't get your updates on television. Therefore, this is the way you'll consume our product, and we want to make sure that you get the latest information on what's happening while we can bring it to you. So hopefully your phones were charged. We told you to do that yesterday, and you've got all your, your phone is ready to go, and you can watch us this way and get the latest information. So Todd Gutner is going to join us right now and get us that latest information as the storm is finishing in some parts of our state and kind of ramping up in other parts. Hey, T.
Yeah, good morning, guys. It's a quick hitter, but it's an intense hit. 3-hour period, 3-hour window of wind gusts that exceeded 60 miles per hour in some of our coastal locations. We've got some reports of 70 plus and even a report of 80 miles per hour in some of the islands out there too. So things are a lot calmer now in southern Maine. The worst is over. It's still a little breezy outside, but by and large, this is much better. Unfortunately, the damage has been done, and there are countless trees and wires down. I mean, it's just a mess everywhere. Navigating the streets and navigating roadways it's going to be a long haul today getting around. So be patient. Be very patient. At the moment, we're looking at the wind that move up the coast, and it's now pretty strong in the down east coastline and in sections of Penobscot Bay and on up Penobscot River into Bangor. I haven't seen the gusts as high as they were when they were down in southern Maine. Low-level jet may be weakening just a bit. The storm itself is beginning to fill in now. It's peaked. The intensity has peaked. But still, it's not fun outside, and we're going to see additional power outages as we go through the morning. Look at some of these wind gusts. I mentioned a 70 plus. That's Port Clyde. It comes from Jerry, trusted fisherman out there. 74 miles per hour. I mean, that's essentially a hurricane in gust, okay, not sustained. Georgetown 67, Portland gusted to 62, putting them in the top 10 all-time highest wind gusts. Rockland 58, Arundel, Bar Harbor seeing some high gusts right now at 44. Rainfall, also impressive part of the storm, didn't cause as many problems. Obviously, if you were driving when the rain was heaviest earlier this morning, it was tough. But, it's still wet outside, but the rain isn't as heavy. We'll see scattered showers remainder of the day. The steady, heavy stuff is moving up into the county now. You can see the yellows and oranges there. Again, the wind ramping down now. By noon, it's quiet in Bangor. The stronger wind gusts are north in the northern counties. Even up there, while they're going to be in the 40s for gusts, I don't expect as many power outages for northern Maine, so it looks like you'll eke yourselves out here with this storm. Interesting to show you this. This afternoon, the storm center is going to swirl right over the state. Kind of like a hurricane. There's an eye where it's nice and calm in the center. That's sort of like what's going to happen for the remainder of the day. It's going to be a lot calmer out there. And then we've got the backside of the storm that's coming through Vermont and New Hampshire. And those will be west or southwest winds with that. And that'll pick up a little bit, and it'll be blustery again later tonight and tomorrow, but not enough for additional power outages, just more of a nuisance really tomorrow. As we look at the 7-day, good cleanup weather, we're going to need it. We're going to need a lot of it. This weekend we've got temps in the 60s and lots of sunshine through Monday. I want to throw this out there. Next week, we're kind of on this one storm a week pattern right now, but that one storm is a potent storm. And next week, there's potential for another potent storm on Wednesday with wind and with rain. All right, Mike Slifer's been outside in this storm all morning long. I'm sure he's pretty waterlogged and pretty wet out there. You took a beating for a while with those winds. Looks a lot calmer now. What's it look like over there in South Portland there, Mike?
It is completely different than it was 2 hours ago, which was different than it was 4 hours ago. So let me give you a quick timeline of my morning. When I first stepped outside, driving, pouring rain. And by the time about 6 o'clock rolled around, super windy. And now there's just some light rain and barely any wind. A lot of debris. We've had leaves and sticks, but that's not the only debris that we see. A full tree came down at some point. So when I first got here this morning, this tree was actually standing. And at some point there was a wind gust that knocked it over, and the wind was roaring so loudly we didn't even hear the tree fall. But just to attest at how calm the winds are, if you drop a leaf now, I mean, it just falls straight to the ground. It doesn't get blown away and swept up. But there are a lot of wet leaves on the roads and debris to watch out for. So good news is things are definitely calming down now. The bad news is now that it's light, people are out and about, we are starting to hear more and more of those reports of damage. News Center Maine's Zach Blanchard has been talking a bit about road closures through the morning and has more updates for us. Zach?
Yeah, hey there, Mike. We are here in South Portland as well because this is really an area that we have been seeing most of the damage from the storm so far. If you take a look behind me, you can actually see this tree down, and then we're going to give you a closer look here. You can see wires down, poles just snapped in half, transformers exploding. Some of the residents here say they heard just this loud bang. They looked out their window and saw that bright flash of light from the transformer. And all of you have been writing to us on Facebook, kind of telling us that you're seeing a lot of these same things. So keep sharing those photos with us. We want to see them. We want to see where this damage is. Fortunately, we are not hearing of any injuries or anything major like that. But again, what happens often, we hear from emergency professionals, is that the injuries come after the storm. So we've seen people out here this morning just checking out these wires, seeing if they can get their cars out of their driveways. Don't do it. Don't go near those downed wires. Stay away from downed limbs as well. You never know if those wires are still live. And here you have the car kind of using the caution tape. So if that's the case, that you wake up and you find that your car is behind caution tape, there's a reason it's behind that caution tape. Odds are you shouldn't be removing it from that area. But we have been hearing well over 100,000 outages all across the state this morning. We've been hearing of washed out boats, crashed boats all along the coastline. Also hearing of road closures along Route 1 in many spots, some of them kind of reopening here and there, so you're going to want to keep up to date with us on our website and mobile app. We'll have all of that information there, as well as our social media pages. But again, as you're hitting the roads this morning, you definitely want to just take some extra time out there and remember that while in southern Maine a lot of this is wrapping up, it's only intensifying in other parts, and that wind and rain will make it a tricky morning commute for you. But for now, we're going to send it on over to Sean, who has a better picture of all of those power outages. He's at Emera, Maine, up in the central Maine. How's it going up there, Sean?
Hey, good morning, Zach. Well, there are a lot of power outages, as you had just mentioned. Nearly 200,000 across the state. Breaking it down, Emera, Maine experiencing right around 30,000 outages. So that's central and northern Maine. They're the utility company. They're Central Maine Power further south. They're experiencing right around 165,000 outages. So clearly this storm is bringing a lot of outages with it. A lot of those are southern Maine and coastal areas like Hancock County, Ellsworth, Bar Harbor, those areas. Right now, I'm actually standing on the Penobscot River. As Todd just said, the storm is still moving along this way and it's intensifying. I've been out here with one of our other reporters, Chloe Tebow, this morning for about 4 or 5 hours, and it's just been increasingly getting more and more powerful. The wind's still strong and the rain obviously picking up as well. So right now you can sort of get a good look of what's happening in downtown Bangor. Waterfront Concerts is just over my shoulder across the river. We're in Brewer, so we have a really great angle about what's actually happening in the city there, and conditions are still continuing to increase. Again, let's mention those outage numbers, nearly 200,000 just across the state. So there are major problems with road closures, as Zach had mentioned, and the wind bringing a lot of those power outages. It's the number one cause of outages, knocking down trees and limbs, knocking down power lines, bringing a lot of these outages in this part of the state. So it's a major problem that we're going to continue to be watching for. We'll be bringing you updates on exactly how many power outages there are across the state and what conditions are like in southern Maine, as well as further up into central and northern Maine. But let's now send it over to News Center Maine's Don Kerrigan, who's going to take a look at the conditions on the mid-coast. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, Sean. The winds seem to have died out a fair amount. Still gusty a little bit, but nothing like they were several hours ago. The rain, at least where I am here in the town of South Bristol, is light. So now it's about cleanup and restoration of power. We have thousands of people out of power. Our house is out of power. We were using flashlights earlier this morning. And a lot of roads closed. 20 roads blocked and closed in Lincoln County. A number of roads up in Knox County, same way. And I have to confess, I am apparently responsible for one of those. Just went out a couple minutes ago and saw that one of our big old pine trees came down, smashed. The CMP power line is resting on part of the cable TV and I assume telephone wire. Our road is completely blocked by the tree, and that's going to be a mess for quite a while. So my apologies for whatever role we played in that. there's a lot of other people in the same boat, literally, because there's, as we said, a lot of trees down, a lot of branches down, a lot of roads closed. That's going to take some time to clean up. In this case, as in many of them, you have to get the power crews there first so they can untangle the lines, make sure everything's dead and safe, then clear the trees away, then go to restore the power lines. So it takes time, and we're all going to have to be patient. Don't know if it'll all get back tonight or not. So up in Rockland, Harbor Master Matt told us three boats at least tore their moorings, washed ashore in the harbor, right in Rockland Harbor, which is very exposed to the easterly wind, where a lot of this wind came from. So that's when that harbor in Rockland really suffers from a storm as winds out of the east, and we had some of that. I think that's the same thing that happened with the tree here on my land that went down. So now it's about cleanup, it's about recovery, going to take some time, and that's what we'll be following today. So Lee and Jess, back to you guys.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah, stay safe there, too.
I don't know if there's like a good timing for a storm, but this did happen overnight. So a lot of people were sleeping. Now a lot of people waking up to kind of this disaster zone that they're seeing. You know, it didn't happen right during the midday, so it did give schools a chance to evaluate, you know.
Not a lot of cars on the road.
Right, exactly,
like that. Sure.
exactly. So, I mean, I'm looking for silver linings in kind of a, you know, not a good situation, but at least we have that.
Well, and as the light starts to come up and you start to go outside and check your surroundings like Don just did and saw his tree went down, I mean, you're obviously going to be tempted to go and, you know, see
Touch
what you
things,
can see. Just
pick
be
it up.
careful with what's on the ground and make sure before you approach anything, you're well aware of what's around it. Look up, make sure there's no lines that are down. You don't want to accidentally touch something, obviously. And just be patient, because now we're over 200,000 people in our state that don't have power. So obviously the crews,
that's a fifth of the state, right?
Are working, you know, going to be working tirelessly to get everybody their power back. You know, if it was as easy as everybody gets your power back, great, but it obviously doesn't work that way. So everybody will be gotten to eventually. Everybody wants to go first, so just be patient. It will come. And luckily, as Todd mentioned earlier during our news this morning, it's not winter. It's 50-something degrees outside.
So you're not freezing in your house.
Luckily, you know, hopefully your food's not going to spoil. Keep your refrigerators and freezers closed until you absolutely need them. But you know, we'll get through it and we'll clean it up and then we'll move on.
Yeah, and thank you to everybody who joined us on a Facebook Live and sending us comments. We're getting a lot of comments now. Basically, people just kind of commiserating, say, hey, we lost power here in Westbrook, or, you know, we haven't lost power here. There was somebody in Winterport who said they hadn't lost it yet, but there are still strong gusts sort of down East Maine, too, so the possibilities that the numbers for the Amera area could go up. A lot of people just chiming in, just sending pictures of the damage that's in front of their homes or what they're waking up to this morning. I know we've seen pictures of trees on cars, which is just, you know, and then trees on homes, power lines that have come down, and of course leaves everywhere. And don't underestimate leaves. Those act like ice sometimes when you're walking. Be careful just where you step, because a wet leaf, big pile of them, and you're going down.
Down you go.
Yeah,
so just be careful out there. We're going to come back. Our next scheduled newscast and update for you guys will be 8:55 on the Today Show if you do have power and you're watching TV. But it will be the noon show. I'm venturing to guess here we'll go live on Facebook, our website, and YouTube at noon, as well as we did all morning long from 4:30 to 7. So if you don't have power, you will be able to watch our noon news on your phone, and that will certainly get you all the latest updates and conditions and power numbers, and, you know, maybe you have some luck and let you know when things will start to get back to normal.
Yeah. And if you don't have the app yet, to download that, because we send out push notifications with the latest information that we have, so you can get it right to your phone, right in your hand. And hopefully that phone is charged if you don't have power. So.
All right, guys, stay safe out there as you start to venture outside and check out the carnage. And if you're, you know, are in the Augusta area north, it's still coming your way. So hang in there, buckle up, and it'll be over just a little bit.